Big vibes, we are back again. Look, ericrayweather, I am sorry I've been gone, bro. You know I react to your videos, man, but I had to do Madden content, so you should probably understand, because I did the little roster content. Feel free to download that the Legends roster. It's called History's Best, and it is all 32 teams that are finished. We're talking the best players that have been on the best teams, and you know how that works. Now, my take on the current updates, I know this is late, it's about 6 days, almost to a week old, but my current take on the update is it's cool. Like it's the gameplay is decent. I rock with the the new animations, but it's either the gameplay or it's the content. Gameplay went up, content went down. You know how it is. Like Madden Ultimate Team sucks now. It sucks. It shouldn't cost so much freaking money to get players nowadays, bro. Like, it hurts my pockets. But let's see what he gotta say.
Madden 24 update we've been waiting for has officially dropped, and I'm gonna be honest, this is one of the biggest Madden updates I have ever seen. It took me forever just to read through all of the stuff that they either fixed, addressed, added, and everything else in between. So like usual, when we get a big update, it's gonna require 2 videos, because otherwise this video would be like 30 minutes long, and nobody wants to sit through a 30-minute long video. So in this video, we're gonna cover all of the major fixes: gameplay, franchise mode, and other modes. The next video will follow this up with equipment, player likeness, uniforms, and kind of cosmetic stuff. Now on their website, before they even got into the actual update, they mentioned a couple things. They said the slow UI transitions that they fixed in the last update, they said they're still monitoring it and they're still incrementally updating that to try to make it even more smooth, because it can still be better, and some of the high traffic screens in the game are still a little laggy at times. They also mentioned,
so I guess this is 6 days old. I can tell you now if they really did something
about this update. They said very important that this only affects newly created classes on this title update once this goes live. If you're trying to still get this fix applied to a previously created draft class, it's not going to work. So I'm seeing a lot of people still saying that it's broken, it's not fixed. They said before the update, and they said now during the update, it only applies to newly created draft classes. If you're still in a franchise mode trying to use an older created draft class before this fix was implemented, it's not going to apply to that. It's only going to apply going forward. Now let's start with the gameplay changes. So first off, they did add some new X factors and abilities to the game. They didn't add the long list that was leaked a while back, some of the stuff we thought they were going to add, but they did add a few new ones that they previewed yesterday. Derrick Henry is equipped with angry runs. This is...
Oh. Okay, so because I spent so much time doing the roster, I didn't know that this is a thing. Higher chance to win interactions versus first defender? I guess that's just another version of Freight Train, ain't it? Like it. Okay.
Is an X factor that grants you extremely high chance to win your first interaction with a defender.
It's like
this will
Freight Train.
include fake out attempts, truck stiff arm attempts, and breaking a tackle. So basically, this is a kind of a combo of all of the running back X factors, which would be Freight Train, Wrecking Ball, and First One Free. It's kind of just all of those put into one with Derrick Henry. Travis Kelce is equipped with the third down threat ability. This grants the player an improved chance of winning contested catches on
third down, mid-range catching. Okay, so they don't have that on franchise. That's what I just peeped. They don't have it on franchise. Okay, that's why I was like, wait, I've never seen that. Better third down, mid-range catching versus single
third
coverage.
Down, wall and single coverage. This
That's
will only
dope,
activate
actually.
if the pass is within 25 yards of the line of scrimmage. Jason Kelce is equipped with linchpin. This superstar ability causes the center to bolster the entire offensive line, allowing players to hold blocks for a longer period of time than they normally would. So this right here just makes the Eagles even better than they already were. And Micah Parsons is equipped with the new dual threat X factor. This grants players an extremely high chance to defeat pass blocks while rushing or force catch knockouts while in coverage. So since
higher chance to defeat pass blocks and disrupt catches, that's kind of like reinforcement, but at the same time it's a mixture of reinforcement and fearmonger, because you kind of pressure the QB, which kind of mess up the throws, but at the same time pass blocks, and it's kind of like reinforcements.
Parsons is kind of a dual threat. We see him rush, we see him play in coverage a little bit too.
Okay.
He's going to be good in both
Okay,
areas.
they need to add that on
something
franchise.
That's interesting about these abilities and X factors are they're in Ultimate Team. They're also equipped to these players in the Play Now rosters, meaning if you just go to the main menu and play a quick game, or you play online head-to-head. However, when you go into franchise mode, these abilities are not on the players. It's just their old abilities before the update. I wouldn't think that's intentional, because if it's with the Play Now rosters, that should carry over to franchise. So I'm assuming that that's going to be updated at some point, maybe the next update, maybe that's a bug, but that just doesn't really make sense.
It don't. They spent so much time talking about
these new abilities and X factors are only on the newer consoles. This is the first time we've seen them do this as well. These will not be on the players if you're still playing the older gen version of the game on PS4 and Xbox One. Now we've got a lot more updates to cover, but really quickly I want to shout out today's video sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. If you like winning money, Underdog Fantasy.
Money, dog.
Code RAY at sign up, RAY. They're going to give you this special, but they're also going to match your first deposit up to $100. So you can get up to $100 free to play around with, and you can't beat that. Continuing on with the update here, they did address some stuff with catching, which you can see up on the screen here. They fixed an issue causing players to warp their feet after playing a dive catch. They fixed a rare issue preventing running backs from playing catches on swing routes when leading them upfield. I've definitely seen that a lot. They fixed a rare issue allowing defenders to use one-handed catch interceptions through the receiver's arms. They did tuning to reduce the catch success chance for pass rushers when attempting to catch an errant throw out of a sack. That's actually a good one, because we don't really see pass rushers catch a lot of interceptions in the NFL, but they catch them at a high rate in Madden, so that's a good fix. They did some tuning to reduce the amount of catch tackle knockouts specifically targeted at curl routes when leading away from the defender, so we see some more successful catches in those situations now, which is good. Defense and special teams, they did some pretty important tuning here as well. They tuned the real-time AI adjustment logic so that it will take effect when the defense is using pass coverage / sub-defense personnel. This is very important. It says, after hearing your feedback and looking at online game stats, we have added additional criteria, so the defense will now have to have at least as many defensive linemen and linebackers on the field as the offense has offensive linemen and tight ends in order to activate the benefit of recognizing repeated run plays. For example, a defense aligning in a dime defense versus a one running back, one tight end offensive formation will now reflect the defense playing to stop the pass instead of the run. So we know for years a lot of the dime and dollar defenses are still successful at stopping the run, and this year it's even better because they added the adaptive AI for run defense. So if you ran a shotgun run a couple times, these dime and dollar defenses would consistently block shed and limit the run, even though it was mostly defensive backs on the field. So now you have to actually match personnel.
It's always been like
you're
that when you had sub linebackers.
And I think that's actually a good fix that this game has needed for a long time. They did tuning to QB contain logic, so only edge rush defenders that are very close to the line of scrimmage will be able to get assigned to QB contain. They fixed an issue allowing a blitz exploit where the defense would slant outside of the defensive line after using a QB contain to get an unrealistic edge heat. Now interior pass rushers will take appropriate rush angles, understanding that the edge rushers are in contain. So basically those two things there just mean
that's like being in that stupid dime formation. And they will intentionally spread out, the linebackers while the D ends are outside of the tackles, and they just send everybody. Come on, bro.
That they have now addressed the loop blitz, and we shouldn't see any more of that. They fixed an issue causing kickers to immediately walk towards the sideline after performing a squib kick. They also modified the defensive audibles logic so teams can only audible to formations with matching personnel. This is another huge one. It says here, previously users were able to audible to different defensive sets within a defensive formation, but we're not looking to substitutions that were made prior to the audible. Users will no longer be able to audible to a set that puts their substituted safeties on the defensive line. Users will have the ability to audible from nickel to dime if they have substituted a linebacker with a defensive back, which they could not do before. So I believe now this also is going to probably limit people maybe from audibling from nickel 3-3 to nickel 3-3 wide with nothing but safeties. Could be wrong, but I think this does address that as well. Or it could also be addressing something else that was an exploit where people were figuring out a way to get into a 3-4 defense with having a safety in
I
the
really
box.
didn't know people were doing that. That's how you know I haven't been playing
there,
much.
but that is a very important one. Now let's talk about the passing game. game. They tuned the pitch lateral accuracy to make it more difficult to perform long distance laterals while moving the opposite direction. Users were able to create unrealistic long pitch plays using the speed option to draw the defense in, then pitch the ball to a player really far away. Now the pitch will not be as accurate when attempting to pitch such a far distance, and the facing angle of the QB will also be taken into account.
That's
so
news.
all of
I
the
have not
option
been
kind of
peeping it.
glitchiness, that looks like it's out the window as well. They fixed an issue allowing Broncos QB Russell Wilson and Chiefs QB Patrick Mahomes to throw on the run with no accuracy penalty. They fixed an issue causing an inaccurate pass when rolling out and pass leading to the inside of
Josh
tight
Allen
end
be doing
in the
that crap
flat
too.
with a perfect accuracy feedback. They also did some tuning to reduce back foot pass animations from triggering when not under pressure. Now let's talk about the blocking updates. So here up on the screen you can see they did a lot of blocking updates to kind of fix some of the meta stuff going on. They added pass block logic to address several common exploit blitzes out of 4-3 even, 6-1 Sam Will blitz, 3-4 odd pinch bug 0, $3-2 cover 2 LB blitz, nickel triple Tampa 2, and nickel 3-3 Cub Mike blitz 0. So a lot of meta blitzes probably won't work as well as they did before. They fixed a rare issue causing a defensive player to warp out of a super win pass rush animation into a post play animation. They fixed an issue preventing the right guard from having the correct blocking target on pistol tight slots PA post slot, and you can see the other ones up here on the screen. These are very specific and kind of rare ones versus certain specific plays that they addressed, but the main one is the first bullet point here. That is really the blocking update in my opinion. These other ones are just kind of some minor things that you might have saw here and there if someone ran a specific play, but none of these are like meta plays typically, so not something you probably saw too much. Now they did address pass coverage a little bit, mainly kind of fixing some issues versus certain plays, but the main one here is they addressed the following cover 4 match coverage issues. You can see a lot of different formations and plays here on the screen. I don't know if this fixes match coverage completely because I'm not really someone that uses match coverage. I know it was broken and bugged. I don't know if it was just versus these certain types of formations and plays or if it was just bugged completely versus everything. But it looks like they addressed it versus a number of different things, so it might be fixed completely now, but I don't use it enough to know 100%. Now let's get to franchise mode here. It said they fixed an issue with downloaded draft classes where all edited prospects would not appear correctly after being downloaded. They fixed an issue where players in generated draft classes had body types that did not match their height and weight. They fixed an issue where players' college would appear as not applicable when it was edited prior to being uploaded. They fixed an issue where a player's height would change to 0-0 after editing a player from a downloaded draft class. They fixed an issue where downloaded draft classes were not saving the handiness of players. They fixed an issue where training camp would become locked for users when joining a league. They fixed an issue where the previous week's game was not showing on the team schedule banner in the main hub. They fixed an issue where IR players could take up a focus player slot in weekly training, causing it to appear blank. They fixed an issue where news stories would incorrectly refer to a game going to overtime. They fixed an issue where news stories had teams reversed when referring to one of them dominating the game. And they also addressed the weekly strategy reps. It says here that they adjusted the levels at which CPU teams would switch to the split and backup options during weekly strategy in order to keep their players more fresh near the end of the season. This should help remedy an issue that sometimes occurred where players would be too fatigued to play later in the year and in the playoffs. They fixed an issue where the halftime report would show the incorrect information in a multi-user league, and they fixed an issue causing the AI-controlled QBs to use incorrect archetype logic in franchise mode. And again, remember the draft class related stuff, it only applies to newly created draft classes, newly generated draft classes. If it's anything from before this update, it will not apply. Now let's talk about Superstar Mode. So typically, Superstar Mode, formerly known as Face of the Franchise, always has a bunch of smaller bugs every year. It's kind of something we've just grown accustomed to. So up on the screen here, you can see all of the different bullet points that they addressed with Superstar Mode. Some of the bigger ones being that they added wide receiver gameplay logic for AI-controlled receivers to use all available catch mechanics, aggressive possession and rack. They fixed some stuff with game day missions. They fixed progression. They fixed rewards. You can see them all up here on the screen. If you play Superstar Mode, you might have run into some of these bugs. Some of them are more one-off bugs, some of them are just some little nagging things, but nothing crazy was done to the mode, no crazy overhaul, no major fix I think here was needed, just a bunch of small things that they had to clean up with the mode. Now the video that follows this, we're going to go over face scans, player likeness, equipment, uniforms, other presentation updates, and more, so make sure to stay tuned, and make sure to sign up at Underdog Fantasy, use code RAY for your $100 deposit match.
Sounds about right. Okay, so y'all see I was tuned in. I didn't do too much commentary, mainly because that's just me paying attention. But so far I didn't. So far I didn't realize Okay, let me move this. So far, I didn't realize that there were a lot of meta things going on. I didn't realize some of these plays were overpowered. I mean, probably because I haven't been playing because of the roster making. It took me about 2 months to do. But that's interesting. Like, I didn't realize that a lot of stuff has been done. Now, those X Factors, I had no clue about. I didn't know they did that during exhibition. That's interesting. But hopefully they can put it in the franchise. But shout out to EricRayweather as usual. Support BLKFinesse for your help.